to the channel, and we are back down at NMG Fishery at last. Last couple of sessions I've been up at Dryad, up at Southwark Park with my little girl, but the sessions have been a little bit fruitless, and although we've had a lovely time together, we haven't had much in the way of fishing content for the channel. So this is the next opportunity I've had to get out. I've had a little couple of days off work. It's Monday now, lunchtime, and I've got till lunchtime tomorrow, so we've got a 24-hour session back down at Barron's Pond, the home of the gems, and I'm the only person booked on as far as I know. There was a bit of a work party. There was a big old work party on. The whole lake was closed this weekend, and there was loads of work done, loads of trees removed, loads of bankside stuff removed, and they've done an amazing job. They've got a load of work done in a short space of time. But I was originally booked to fish in Peg 4, where I fished on that longer session and fished across to the far bank because it put me in good stead last time. But with all the bankside disturbance, the margins are very, very quiet. I've had a couple of walks around, and the only fish that I've seen have been topping out in front of the island just off the point swim, and I think it's the undisturbed area that no one's been messing around there during the work party. So I think with all that's been going on around the banks, all the fish are sort of pushed out into the centre of the lake, as it were, and it seems as if they're still there. So just to capitalise on it, I've got my fishing head on. I've got the rods out before the bivvy up this time, which is a bit unusual for me, but I just wanted to get the rods out and get fishing before I start faffing around with all that stuff. So I am now going to set the bivvy up, get the bed in, make a nice cup of tea and have a little spot of lunch, because it is lunchtime, and hopefully one of these rods will let me know if anything happens. Fingers crossed. So the house is all set up. The rods are a bit quiet. I've had a couple of bleeps, I've had a couple of little liners. Definitely fish in the area. I've chose this swim purposely because I've seen fish out there. I've seen a lot more fish here than anywhere else. So I think we're in with a chance. We have had a couple of frosts recently. Since I last come and fished here, we have had a couple of frosts. A frost earlier in the week. Then it's been a bit mild and overcast for a few days over the weekend, and then last night was clear and there was a frost last night. There was a frost where I am, right next to the sea, and out here it's a little bit more out in the sticks, and the frosts tend to get a little bit heavier out here. So at the moment the sun's trying to poke through, but it is a bit cloudy up there, and if the cloud stays then we might have a mildish night. The cloud cover does push on and it's clear skies, we could be in for a cold one, but I've got everything I need to stay comfortable and hopefully get one or two on the bank. That would be good, especially knowing what swims around in here. I've only scratched the surface so far. Since I fished here last, I've seen more pictures being posted up on the page of fish that I would love to have in the bottom of my net, but we will have to see if the carp gods are shining on us. So I'm fed and watered, and as you can see, the sun's shining. It actually looks quite nice now, but it's really weird. Last time I was here, there was a lot more leaves in the trees. Now there's a lot more sitting on top of the water, but it's nice. There's a little bit of a breeze. It's one of them kind of swirling breezes that really isn't going in any direction in particular, just where it wants to go at the time. It's in a bit of a valley here and it's surrounded by trees, so it's never going to get blowing a hoolie. So it's 2 o'clock. I got here at 12. I had to walk around for an hour and then got the rods out about 1 o'clock. So the rods have been out for about an hour, and apart from a couple of little bleeps that I had early on, it's been really quiet since. I haven't seen any shows either. I've seen nothing to go on. I've been looking at that end of the lake and in front of me, and I haven't seen a lot at all. I've seen a couple of half swells that might be decent roach, but nothing concrete that tells me there's carp in the area. which makes me think that I'm quite lucky that I saw what I saw when I got here, because if I turned up now I wouldn't have a Scooby what to do or where to end up pitching up for the night. So I think I'm in the right area. I just want to see a few more cast iron shows, just so that, you know, just to cement it, just a confidence booster. I'm quite happy where I am. I'm quite happy where the rods are. I haven't put loads and loads of bait in. I might give it a little top up before it gets dark. I might even freshen up the hook baits. I don't know yet. I'll just see how it pans out. But I'm just keeping them peeled at the moment. Just having a good look around. And because there's nobody booked on, it could be a case of if I do see them start showing elsewhere, I might have to move and get on them, and then just call up and let Steve know where I am. But we'll have to cross that bridge if we come to it. But I think with all the disturbance, and a fella came along earlier and said exactly the same thing, that there's been so much work going on around the banks this weekend, all the fish have just pushed out into the centre of the lake, which is the area of the water which I command from this swim. And I think that's where they've stayed, because if they were there when I turned up at midday today, and they went out there when all the work was going on, there's a good chance that they're going to stay there for a while. I've seen a couple. I've seen one in the margin to my left, a small mirror, and I've seen one in the margin to my right as well. That seems to be a resident fish. I've seen it there a couple of times, and I've just seen one with his back break the surface just down to the left. But apart from that, it's all been out in front, and like I say, perhaps for the last 45 minutes I haven't seen anything at all. So fingers crossed. When I stood out there just now, there's a chilly old wind coming across the lake. It's only a gentle breeze, but it's a chilly one. So I don't know if that's good. I'm not making excuses. It is what it is. I'm fishing confidently. I'm fishing with stuff, you know, with bait, with rigs, with end tackle. It's all stuff that I'm confident in. I know will work. If I can land it in the right place and the fish are up for a munch, we'll get a couple. If all of the disturbance has switched them off, if the cold nights that we've had recently have switched them off, then there's not a lot I can do about that. All I can do is fish to the best of my ability, and then if an opportunity arises, I think we'll have one. So I'm not usually one for doing rig pieces, but because of fishing where I am, I have to use barbless hooks and I have to use mono hook links as well, and I've kind of perfected it. So I just wanted to run quickly through the mono hook link that I use for this venue. So it's a simple rig, but I'm going to run through it anyway. And it starts with mono, literally the stuff you put on your reels. So in this case, I've got some 12 pound K pulse. I'm going to take a length of that, probably about a foot, and then in the end of it I'm going to tie a little loop. Little overhand loop, And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my glasses on so I can actually see what I'm doing. So once we've got our loop, I always put the bait on so then I can work out how long the hair is going to be. In this case I've got a little dumbbell. Track that with a stop. Then I'm going to get a hook, and we're using the Genomic size 6 wide gape barbless, because this is a barbless only water. Feed that in through the back. And get the hair length just right. I like to just past the bend of the hook, and I'm going to go around. Times to create that knotless knot. There we go. Next I'm going to get a kick-off liner. I like these ones because they're quite long. Some of them on the market I've found are a bit short, but these ones have got a bit of length to them. So you can get that down the shank a bit and create a really nice kicker. And the next thing to do is to pop on an anti-tangle sleeve. Do you know what, even with my glasses I can't always see brilliantly. And then I'm going to tie an overhand figure of 8. Bed that down. Snip off the excess. And there we have it. Once that sleeve comes up over that knot, it will also sit over the top of the swivel as well. And that is the little mono knotless knot hair rig with a little kicker that I've been using here, and that little wafter just set up off the back of that shank. And that is a perfect little rig, and that has been doing the business for me. So it's quiet. It's 10 to 4. 10 to 4. So I think I've actually been fishing with the rods out for about 3 hours now. I have had one recast and topped up with a bit more bait. Got some bait out there now, kind of set for the evening. And although when I got here, that initial first sort of half an hour, I saw quite a few fish out in that area, and 1 or 2 in the margins either side. For a good couple of hours now I've seen nothing. Nothing's a go on at all. I've been watching down the end of the lake, I've been watching past the island, I've been watching the immediate water in front of me, and it's all very, very quiet. The temperature's starting to drop now. I can feel it starting to get cold, and it's almost as if it's winter fishing. I know it's not winter yet, it's late autumn, but with the few frosts and the way it feels and the way it looks, it feels like we're going into winter fishing, and with that comes slow sessions, you know. I don't think it's going to be as fast and furious as it has been, but going on the last couple of sessions that I've done here, the first session, the long 4-day session, and then I did that session with Jessica down there, a lot of fish coming after darkness, and it gets dark earlier now, so I wonder if we're going to have a more prolonged feeding spell after dark. So if by 5 o'clock it's getting dusky, I'm wondering if maybe, you know, that early part of the evening might see a couple of bites. I'm surmising now, I'm just literally putting this out there. But the last session I did with Jessica, it was absolutely dead quiet when we got here. We fished from the off, and didn't start getting any bites until sort of 9 o'clock in the evening, and I think I had 4 or 5 fish between 9 o'clock in the evening and 2 o'clock in the morning. It seemed to be the window of opportunity, and it was the same when I did that night in here. I'd fish up against the island in the night. Early hours in the morning go quiet, and then I think first thing in the morning can be bite time as well. So hopefully that's a pattern that we can carry on into this session. If that's the case, then I think we've got a chance of a couple after dark, because I've got the rods out well, I've got good hook baits I know that they like, I've got rigs that work, I've got a baited patch out there, I'm fishing over the top of the baited patch. I've seen fish there earlier in the day. There's no reason for me to believe, looking around the rest of the lake, that the fish have moved off anywhere else. So it's just a case of sitting and waiting now, I think. Like I said, the temperature's starting to drop. The owls have started. The jackdaws have started as well. Probably getting ready to go wherever they go to roost for the night. So everything's getting ready to knuckle down for the evening, and I'm doing the same now. So I think another cup of tea, a bit of something to eat, and then I'm probably going to kick back and relax for a bit, and take advantage of the fact that I'm not at work for 2 days. Well, as you can probably see, it's starting to get a bit dusky now. It's just starting to. It is getting a little bit chilly as well, and it is 4:30 now, 4:30. I reckon it's going to get proper dusky by 5 o'clock now. It's that time of year, it's scary, isn't it? And it's still very, very quiet at the moment. A schoolboy error as well. I just did a time lapse. The sky looked lovely. The clouds were coming over. Patches of blue, patches of white, and it looked really nice. So I set up the GoPro doing a time lapse, and schoolboy error, I kept forgetting it was there, and I kept on walking to the edge of the swim to watch the water, and then realising I was standing in front of the bloody camera. Which is annoying. And then all of a sudden it's come over absolutely completely filled in grey, and on a time lapse that looks absolutely rubbish. It's just grey sky and nothing, just well be a still picture. So I've sacked that off, but I've just had a chat with Rob, the bailiff. He's come down to shut the gate up, but he's going to stick one in the margin, I think, for the last hour of the day, and see if he can winker one out. As is his way, he can turn up and usually get a bite while he's still setting the bobbin on the first cast, and then go off home happy that he's caught one in 10 minutes. But then he knows the water inside out, so fair play to him. But he's just come down and had a chat, just filled me in on what happened at the weekend with the work party, and the fact that, you know, in previous work parties, all the commotion on the bank hasn't put the fish off. It hasn't affected them. In fact, they can be a bit inquisitive and sort of go to those areas to see what's going on, which is quite comical. But yeah, so while we were chatting, I had a single bleep on the left hand rod, which after a couple of hours of absolutely nothing, you get a bleep and your ears prick up and you're ready to pounce on it. So who knows, there's some big roach in here that can pick up 15mm boilies and throw them about a bit, so you can get single bleeps from that. So until it jams in the butt ring and starts taking line, it's one of them. But like I said to Rob, over this side of the lake particularly, it seems to be for me that nothing really happens until after dark, and then might get a few fish through the darkness up until early hours in the morning. And then maybe another little chance first thing in the morning. So that's where I'm hedging my bets. I'm quite happy where they are. I'm happy with the bait that I've got out there on the spots. So I'm just going to kick back now and enjoy the evening. Try and stay warm, I think. But with this cloud cover that I can see, it's going to be like a blanket, and it's going to definitely keep the heat in. So I think we're in for a mild one. Famous last words. Just gonna gently lift you up. Here we go. Here we go. Off the mark with a small common. Small but beautiful little common. Gorgeous little fish. Proper chuff. 6 o'clock in the evening. It's taken a while, and I was just hoping that maybe after dark I might come out and start having a little prowl, and we've managed to get one. So yeah, I'm proper happy with that. That fish is really cold to feel. In the space of a few weeks, the water temperature's dropped and the fish have got cold, and I think that might just make them a little bit lethargic. They're not going to be as frantic as they have been through the summer, but nonetheless, we've saved the blank. So we're off the mark. Lovely small common. Got the rod back out again now, and it's not 6:30 yet, so still plenty of the night to go. We've got 12 hours until morning. Probably going to start getting light about 7:30, I reckon. So we've probably got 13 hours of darkness now. That's the thing about winter, long old dark nights. But as long as you're prepared, plenty of hot drinks, plenty of food, warm meal, decent sleeping bag, all that sort of stuff. Make sure if you make sure you're prepared for it, they're not so bad. And if you can keep getting a few fish, keep the adrenaline pumping, that just helps even more. Yeah, rated. Hopefully we can get another one. Here we go. Fish number 2, just after 8 o'clock. Lovely little mirror, really pretty little fish. Couple of small ones to start, but it's a start. Come on, a little 12mm dumbbell, this one. Little bag of freebies attached to it. Same rod as last time too. Just out there towards the island. Happy days, let's get her back and get the rod back out. So we had 2 fish after dark. One at 6 o'clock and one at 8 o'clock. Lost the fish at 3 o'clock. And about 20 minutes ago, we managed to land that beauty. Stunning common. Absolutely beautiful. I haven't weighed it yet. But I'm going to do that in a second, and then I'm going to slip it back and have my first cup of tea of the day to celebrate. Proper result. Well happy with that fish. Chuffed. It wasn't such a bad night, you know. I was expecting it to be frosty, but it wasn't. It stayed overcast and stayed quite mild all night. Had a broken night's sleep. That fish at 6, one at 8, lost one at 3, and then had that nice common first thing this morning, which was the get out of jail card, I think. Lovely common. Just having the first cup of tea of the day. I'm going to have a Scotch egg as well, a bit of breakfast. I've moved the rods now. Was fishing out towards the island, and true to form, couple of fish after dark, and then after 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning it usually dies, and it just went absolutely quiet after that and never had anything until first thing this morning, that first light fish. But what I've done now is I've moved them around and I've got them out in open water now. The first session I did here, I did that. I fished up against the island, had some fish. It died early hours, and then first thing in the morning I put them out in open water, sort of 3/4 of the way across, put some baits over the top, and I think I picked up 2 or 3 fish doing that. There was a lot of commotion this weekend with this work party, and we've had a couple of frosts as well, so it's not going to fish as well as it did a few weeks ago when it was more sort of late summer. Now it's late autumn and it's a completely different ball game, but they're out there, they're out in open water, and I've got a feeling that because of all the commotion with the chainsaws and the people in the water and all the stuff that went on during the work party over the weekend, for the whole weekend the majority of the fish just flocked to the middle of the lake. And going by the shows that I saw at lunchtime yesterday when I arrived, I've got a feeling that a lot of them fish are still out there. They haven't really started to mingle back yet. They don't know it's safe yet, so maybe they're still milling around the centre part of the lake. So if they are, I've got 2 rods out there now. I've got a nice spread of bait out there, and hopefully we might be able to nick one more before it's home time. The time now is 20 to 9, So I've got best part of 3 hours for those rods out there doing their thing. So time will tell, but I'm going to chill, I'm going to have a cup of tea, bit of breakfast, and I'll report back if anything happens. Fingers crossed, you never know. So I've had a little bit of a switch up. I did move both rods round onto the open water mark in front of me, but they've been out there for a good hour and a half now, and it's been dead quiet. Not a single bleep, not a single bubble. Really quiet everywhere. I'm just sitting in the bivvy making a cup of tea. Because I was fishing out towards the island, I kind of situated the bivvy so that sitting in there I can look out at the island, and sitting inside I can't actually see where the rods are out in the open water spot. But sitting there making a cup of tea, I just saw the most subtle, if I called it out of the corner of my eye, I would have said it was a roach, but it was a carp. Just its back broke the surface about a rod length, about half a rod length maybe, from the island. And I carried on watching. I finished my cup of tea, had a mince pie, and then I saw a small carp come out, just stick his head out. It wasn't a big carp, the second one I saw, but it was a carp. And that was within about 15 minutes of each other, on the same spot. So I wound in one of the open water marked rods. One of them's still out there, but I've just wrapped up, and it's 9 1/3 wraps, and that fishes me about half a wrap from the island. Lovely drop, quite deep, and I managed to catapult about 3 pouches of baits out there, probably about 40 baits, just to stop them in their tracks if they are patrolling around the island. So fingers crossed. I've got probably about 2 hours left of the session. And if we could get one more, that'd be really good. I'm really happy with what I've got, to be honest. With the commotion of the work party and the frosts and all the other excuses I made earlier, I think to go away with 3 fish under my belt ain't bad going. I'll take that. But if we could nick one more, I know what's in here. So if we could nick one more, there's every chance it could be a real good one. We shall have to see. So, an hour left, and it's still dead quiet. Still got one out by the island, still got one out in open water. I've got a friend down the other end of the lake as well, fishing that end, and it's dead quiet for him as well. And it is absolutely Baltic today. There's a really cold wind coming straight at me, and it's cold. It's a cold one. Don't know how this place responds to that sort of chilly wind. I can see over the other side of the island opposite me. The water's flat calm. The cold wind isn't having any effect on the water. And maybe they're all hunkered down over there. It's hard to know where they are. But I'm going to keep plugging away. I'm going to keep these out here for the last hour. Probably use this hour now just to start having a little bit of a pack away, a little bit of a tidy up. It's been a fantastic session again. I've loved every minute. It's been a bit quiet, but I expected it. It's getting into that time of year now. Bit of commotion over the weekend, so yeah, to catch 3 fish, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. It's just been lovely being by the side of the water again, when normally I would be at work for these 2 days. You've got to count your lucky stars, haven't you? I think I'm going to have one more cup of tea, one more mince pie, and then slowly start to pack the camp down. If anything happens, I'll keep you posted. So guys, I am halfway through packing away. Literally got to put the bed away now, put the bivvy down, and then wind the rods in. I've got 10 minutes until I've got to be off. So it's been really quiet. I've just seen one lump out on the far bank over there. It's about 14.5 wraps over there, so I've just popped one over there, a single hook bait with a little bag with about 4 boilies and a little bit of pellet in, and I've put it over there just for the last 15 minutes. Been over there 5 minutes and I've got 10 minutes left, but it really is last chance saloon. But again, wonderful session, lovely to be out on the bank as always. Caught a few fish, so no blank, and can't wait to get back out again. So don't know where it's going to be, don't know when it's going to be, but I'm going to do my best to get out soon. So wherever I go, I'll bring the camera, I'll let you know all about it. So thanks for watching, tight lines, see you in the next one.